Hello, cinephiles, and welcome to Silver Screen Sips, a podcast where three idiot friends talk about movies. And today we discuss purpose, because without purpose, we would not exist. It is purpose that created us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that guides us, that drives us. It is purpose that defines us, purpose that binds us. We are here because of you, Mrs. Bethany LeCare.
Don't say my last name.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. I really don't care. Yeah. Wait, what was that from?
The Matrix.
I know, I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's a joke. I watched the movie.
It's a joke.
I watched the movie, I swear.
Welcome, guys, to another episode. We are on episode 2 of The Matrix. This is Reloaded, right?
Reloaded.
Warning, I suck at mentioning this in the beginning of the episodes, but there are spoilers ahead for movies and TV shows, so just know you've been warned.
You should know by now. I mean,
I'm really bad at mentioning it, but you never know. Someone might just tune in to the Matrix season. You never know. Gotta make sure I at least mention it once per season. That is my minimum goal. So here's my once for the season.
bare minimum.
Yeah, there's spoilers, so just be prepared. Lewis,
Yes.
what do you got for us today?
Give me alcohol.
I'm having a very difficult time finding actual drink for the Matrix movies, aside from the shots we discussed last week, last episode. Sorry. I did find a cocktail version of the red and blue pills versus the shot version.
Mm-hmm.
But today I actually was gonna try something different. I was gonna discuss a wine that they introduced in the movie.
Oh, I like it.
We're gonna talk a little bit about France and the winery and so on. So here we have there is an iconic scene from the film, and this is actually referring to the character I may have referred to in last week's episode, or our last episode. I don't know why I keep saying last week. Anyway,
because it was last week.
I know it was last week, but it is the 1959 Château Haut-Brion. I believe I pronounced that correctly. I don't know if Alice would correct me on that.
Probably would.
Here's a crazy thing to think about. I'm looking at a bottle of it online
Mm-hmm.
on the wine search. They're from, Pessac-Léognan in France, and it is $4,000 for a bottle.
Oh my God. I was not expecting 4,000.
Yeah. Well, older wines like that tend to go up into those numbers. So, which I'll demonstrate that with maybe another bottle of wine in the future. But in either case, to tell you a little bit about the Chateau itself, because I believe it was just a Cabernet from there. Chateau Haut-Brion is the oldest and by far the smallest of the Premier's Grand Cru vineyards of the Gironde 1855 classification. Gironde is a region in France. France doesn't exactly have states. They have administrative regions, which are then broken down into departments. I don't understand really, but we're going to basically consider the 13 administrative regions in central France the states, and each of these could be considered county in a sense. A unique thing about the Château Haut-Brion is not only is it one of the few remaining family-owned domains of the Bordeaux region with history going back to the 16th century, it is also, I believe, the only chateau and source of wine that's not in the Médoc region. So the Médoc region is northwest, I believe, of the city of Bordeaux along the bank of the Gironde estuary. The only exception is, let me rephrase that. So all of the red wines from the 1855 classification come from the Médoc region, which is to the north and the west of the city of Bordeaux. Chateau Haut-Brion, which is in the Graves region, which is actually southeast of Bordeaux, is the only exception in that classification. And I learned about a whole bunch of random things about, the way France is divided and wines and all these other things while I was trying to research this a little bit.
What does it taste like? Like, what does it have hints of?
I'm going to see.
They're always like, I'm getting hints of oak and, shit like that. Like, is there a certain, what is the word? Medley? Or
Medley?
What's the term that they always use? Note?
I think medley?
Yes.
Is it medley?
No, it's usually, they usually use the word a note or hint of.
So, Lewis, when are you buying me a bottle? is what I want to know.
Is it?
When I win the lottery,
Oh, okay.
or actually when my stocks pay off.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
Right after you hit the gym, right?
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah. There it is.
It's like wiping your ass with silk. I love it. How about that?
Oh, that was that made me laugh so hard. I was like, I love that line. Cursing in French is like wiping your ass with silk. I love it.
Yeah, he was an excellent character.
Could not have put it better myself, my friend.
I can't specifically find what it's going to be. I'm going to assume it is a Cabernet Sauvignon, and those tend to be a bit of a more full-bodied wine, right? For those unfamiliar with the term full body, that tends to mean that they're a bit drier. They're not sweet, but this is actually something that's amazing to pair with like steaks. It brings out a lot of the flavor.
So how do we rate this one? Because
I
would give it a 1 because of the price, right?
No.
Or do you give it a 5 because of the price?
I think it's somewhere down the middle, because rich people are like, ooh, this tastes so good. And it turns out it always tastes like crap because it's just because of the price tag.
I mean, I think in this instance, I wasn't actually going to make ratings for it. I was just going to point out that, like, The Matrix did a crazy thing and used a very expensive wine. Even though this movie was released in like 2003, this was during filming. This would have at least been like a $3,000 bottle if they actually used.
Honestly, even if it was over 200, I would have been like, "Oh my god, that's expensive."
Yeah.
Okay, well then we're not rating it, I guess, unless we want to rate it a 4 for 4,000. I don't know.
I would just say it's the classy bottle of wine. I think it adds something special to that scene with the Merovingian, which I'll get into when I discuss the movie later. And yeah, I got to learn a little bit more about France, which is actually a place I very briefly had the idea of wanting to live.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Oui, oui.
Omelette de fromage.
S'il vous plaît.
Baguette.
I'm just saying random words in French that they don't make a sentence, but they work.
It's like wiping our ass with silk.
Okay. Well, that was good. That was very interesting. Lewis, thank you.
Yes,
it's a little different than usual, but I liked it. I like to be spontaneous, Like I like throwing things. What is it? What's the word? Changing things up a bit. That's what I'm going for.
I did not know where she was going with this.
Sorry, I'm going off script here. It's very it's not working out for me. Yes, I have a whole teleprompter on my end. So, I guess now then we're on to my segment. Yes?
Yes, we are moving on.
Okay, moving on. Now, like I said, I think I said this last episode, but I'm keeping a relatively same theme for each of the episodes this season. It's going to be a basically would you rather, or like a this and that kind of question, where one pill gives you one thing, the other pill gives you another, and you have to decide which pill you will take. So I have 2 today. And like I said last time, try to go in depth with why you're answering the way you're answering, so that it's not just a red pill, blue pill answer. Who would like, before I ask the question, who would like to answer first?
Lou.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for volunteering him, Isaiah. Okay, Lewis, your first question is, you're presented 2 pills. The red pill means you can save 3 of your closest family or friend, like family or friends. While the blue pill means you can save 1,000 people you don't know.
Oh, so it's a fucking trolley problem.
We're going in deep down the rabbit hole today.
That really fucks with me,
Yeah, because either way, you're going to be hated by someone who's listening.
Yeah.
Your best bet is to just be honest at this point.
Hi, welcome to Lose or Lose. In today's episode.
Yeah. Lose or lose?
Big Lou, big lose, or big loose. So the problem I'm having with trying to answer it is because, like, I want to say I consider myself to be an altruistic person, and my whole reason for going into medicine is to help people. I wouldn't want to kill off 1,000 people.
Very counterintuitive.
Yeah, I know, very counterintuitive to just save your family and friends and be like, yeah, that's fine, let the 1,000 people die. You're like, no, that's pretty sad,
right?
You know what? I'm gonna say blue pill. I'm gonna go with my gut.
Blue pill. It's gonna save 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Okay, Isaiah, what about you?
What was the question again?
Oh my God. Red pill is save 3 of your closest family or friends. And the blue pill is you save 1,000 people that you do not know.
Do I have any semblance of who these people are, or is it just like random
I
people?
literally just said you don't know them.
I mean, it's like, oh, they'll be somewhere, like they'll be in this town, or like it's an entire town worth of people, or do you mean like just like random one persons everywhere?
It's literally the trolley problem. Like they're right in front of you. You pull it one way and it kills those 3 people. You pull it the other way and it kills 1,000 other people.
Damn. Okay. It depends on it depends on my 3 friends.
Well, you can decide.
Oh, I can decide on who the 3 friends?
It's whoever. It has to be your closest family or friends. So you have to be truthful to that, at least. I know we ain't there, Lewis. So we're in the clear either way.
Sorry, small town. You're all gonna die.
Wow.
I did red pill.
You took the red pill
because I don't like people, and the world sucks. And what do you call it? If the people
he's so emo.
if the friends I'm gonna be saving are like people I know, I like, and I know are good people, I'm gonna save them. I don't know any of these people. None of these people have redeemed themselves in my eyes.
So what if the question is just designed that way so that you think they're going to die, but they're not actually going to die? I say, what about then?
Oh, then I get mobbed afterwards, and I end up dying.
Exactly.
Well, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes, you know?
I feel like I would be, I feel like I'd be too indecisive and everyone would just end up dying, and because I wouldn't know what way to go and it'd be too late. I'm like, I don't know who to save. And then kablam.
Kablam, the trolley.
Okay, so that's question number 1. Question numero dos is, Isaiah, I'm going to ask you first this time. I think I know your answer, but at the same time, I know Lewis's answer, but Isaiah, it could be 50-50. We'll see. So Isaiah, are you ready?
Never, but here, I got
Great. Here we go. Red pill means you can only watch your least favorite Harry Potter movie for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
Blue pill means you can only watch your least favorite Star Wars episode for the rest of your life. So least favorite Star Wars for the rest of your life or least favorite Harry Potter?
I'll go with Star Wars because I think I can handle Star Wars more than I could handle Harry Potter.
See, I knew that. I had a feeling he was going to say that, but I wasn't sure if maybe there was some hatred for Star Wars that was still lingering or something.
I don't know, because I feel like even with like Star Wars, I would actually have to debate on which one I think is worse. Like in my personal opinion, where like Harry Potter, I know which one's the worst, and I'm never gonna. And there's no debate on it.
Which one do you think would be it for Star Wars then?
For Star Wars, it's probably going to be one of the last 2.
Okay.
Because The Last Jedi, like at least half of The Last Jedi, I can kind of get down with.
Right.
The Rise of Skywalker is kind of bad across the board, but like it's kind of palatable. I don't know. Palatable. There you go. Yeah, palatable is somewhat maybe. So the debate would have to be on which one's the worst out of the 2. But I do think Rise of Skywalker would probably be the worst one.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Fuck.
You'll get there.
The Last Jedi.
No, that's episode 8.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, for you.
No, I mean, if I had to rewatch one, then I would probably pick that one.
So you also are leaning on you'd rather watch Star Wars for the rest of your life?
Yeah, because I don't really have a problem watching even my least favorite Harry Potter movie. So if I wanted to like suffer in some way, then it would be to watch episode 8. But at the same time, I'd be watching episode 8 and I'd be seeing that one scene that stands out no matter how much we shit on the movie. When they tear through the fucking dreadnought at hyperspeed. And it's like fucking dead silence.
That seems pretty dope.
That scene was amazing. So out of the entire movie, I would just be watching that over and over and just be like,
that's fair.
Hell yeah.
That's fair. Bro. Okay. All right. Actually, then Lewis surprised me. I would have thought he was going to pick Harry Potter. So you guys both fooled me.
Aha! Looks like you're the fool.
Okay. Well, those are my 2 questions. Isaiah.
Beth.
What do you got for us on your list of facts?
Oh, Neo. Let's see.
Also, real quick, sorry, not to change the subject, or it's not even to change it, but I wanted to mention earlier, Lewis, I came up with a great drink idea for the Matrix.
Okay, sure.
And I think we should make it if it's not a thing.
Sure.
Now, I don't know specifically what drinks you would combine, but it would be called the Holy Trinity. And it would have 3 different somethings in it.
Okay. Similar
to like how a 4 horsemen is, where it's like 4 of something, but it would be the Holy Trinity, and it'd be like 3. I'm thinking something on the clear side, or like tequila or something.
Got it. Well, give me 1 second.
He's going to go make it now. Give us your Facts.
Anyway, I'll go back to our sequels later on. But yeah, let's get on to facts.
Facts.
All right. So, as we all know, the biggest scene in this movie, other than the clone fight, is probably the highway scene. It is a large chunk of the movie, and it is freaking crazy awesome.
It is very long, but
it is very long, yes. Now, the highway scene also took very long to shoot. It took about 4 months. The highway itself doesn't actually exist. It was created from scratch for the movie. It's about 1.5 miles long.
Oh, yeah.
This was the fact you mentioned the last episode, right? And you're like, I don't remember which movie it's in. Something.
No, actually, the fact you did mention from last episode about him tripping and ruining the shot was actually in the shootout scene in the lobby.
There you go.
Yeah, so I found it out after some research. It was in the shoot. So if we're going back, so to go back to the first movie, the scene where he's in the shootout in the lobby, there's a spot where he's like leaning against the one of the pillars with the guns up, and the pillar gets shot up and stuff like that, and they're like, all right, cool, go. And he goes out and he trips and he falls face first onto the floor, which is in a lot of the behind the scenes stuff that you can see. Now that the take they had actually made it into the film, but they cut it right before he tripped, obviously. So they still were able to use the shot. So it technically wasn't really he ruined it or like anything. They still ended up using the shot. So
damn, I didn't even get my facts straight. I'm so sorry.
Leave it to professionals, Beth. Anyway, now back to our to this movie. Yeah, no. So this highway didn't exist at all. It was created from scratch. It was 1.5 miles long. It was at a decommissioned naval base in Alameda.
Where's that?
Alameda, California, on the San Francisco Bay.
Nice.
It has been permanently closed. It was the naval base itself is decommissioned, so they don't use it. So Warner Brothers was able to use it for the movie to make a fake highway. Now during this scene, car manufacturer GMC donated about 300 cars for the scene itself. All of them were destroyed during the making of this movie.
Oh my God.
All 300 cars.
Big shout out to GMC.
They were like, hey guys, we want our cars in there. They're like, hey, cool, you're not getting any back.
We want our cars in there, even though they're going to get blown up in 2 seconds.
It was reported so later on it was reported that Keanu Reeves opted not to take his contracted share of the ticket sales because the producers weren't positive enough that they'd recoup the budget itself. It didn't matter anyway. Reeves got most of his salary back to the he gave most of his salary to the production crew so that they can keep working. And he did quote saying that he could live off what he made from the movies for centuries. So it didn't really matter much because the movie made so much freaking money.
Damn.
All right. So now the Agent Smith clone fight, which is obviously like the second greatest fight. It's also known as the Burly Brawl. It took about 27 days to shoot. Another interesting thing about this scene is the sound effects. The Foley artists used toppling dominoes and bowling balls, knocking over bowling pins.
Okay, sorry. I have a note about that. I have a note about that. But continue.
What?
Yeah, they did that to simulate the punches and kicks. Technically, he only fights about 80 clones in the scene.
Only.
Yeah, only about 80 clones.
That's easy.
I don't know. It might seem like a lot more, but it's actually only 80 clones.
I honestly thought it was like 50, so I was off.
So the code name. So it's also called the Burly Flight. It's called the Burly Brawl because it's a reference to the movie Barton Fink.
Never heard of it.
In the movie Barton Fink, the guy is creating a screenplay, and in the screenplay it's called The Burly Man. And so they kind of had similar themes, I guess, going on. So they codenamed the sequels, both Reloaded and Revolutions, The Burly Man, because the first movie did so well that a lot of people were worried. Warner Bros. Was worried that people were going to steal all the like the like marketing material. So they didn't. So they sent it under the codename Burly Man and a few other things. And I think it was Caddyshack too. But yeah, so they codenamed it The Burly Man, and the movie Barton in reference to the movie Barton Fink, and that's why it's also called The Burly Brawl. Now, when you read The Architect, Sean Connery was originally offered the role of the architect, but he turned it down because he didn't understand the script. He then went on to go in the movie The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which did so terrible that he ended up retiring after that.
Oh my God.
Aw, big rip.
Big rip.
Now we're going to get into, now this is a weird one. So the character Tank from the first movie, he's killed off screen in between this movie and the first one. That's because the actor, Marcus Chong, and the Wachowskis had a dispute over his pay for his return. He was originally paid only like $28,000 for the first movie.
Oh, damn.
The fuck?
And this time they were going to offer him 5 times his amount, which was $250,000 for both movies.
That's wow.
Big jump. It's a big jump from $28,000 to $250,000 for 2 movies. Now, the problem was Chong, however, wanted $1 million.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. All right, buddy.
Yeah, so he wanted $1 million because he felt that $250,000 wasn't enough. And he was replaced with and then he was obviously replaced with the other character, Link. He then sued Warner Brothers for breaching a verbal contract. He ended up losing. What's up?
Something to correct the wording here. He wasn't killed off screen. You see him get injured.
No, he gets injured. So he gets injured in the first movie, and
you see him like barely survive and shoot Cypher.
Yeah, but no, he's technically still alive by the end of the movie. In Matrix Reloaded, they have a throwaway line saying about how he died in between the movies. So it doesn't tell you if he died due to those wounds, but it does say that he did die in between those movies at some point for some reason.
Okay, and that's fair.
Yeah, so that's all because
my bad.
He wanted $1 million.
$1 million, Jesus Christ, man!
$1 million.
I don't even think Keanu Reeves got that much.
He did.
Okay, well,
but that's because Keanu Reeves is the lead actor.
Yeah, Keanu was the lead actor, and also Keanu also was Keanu's a very nice and generous person. You know,
that's also true.
Where do you put all that money?
$1 million in a fucking Cayman Island bank offshore.
There you go.
Okay, continue.
So it gets really weird from this point on. All right, so Chong ended up putting out a 45-minute documentary on YouTube, which you can look up. It's called The Marcus Chong Story, basically documenting his struggle to try to get the money that he believed he was owed. Now, there are a few things that, depending on, I don't know, you can watch the documentary yourself if you have 45 minutes to watch this insane mind trip. But you can see kind of he's kind of have a valid point, but also he kind of got screwed over. But then also he's kind of insane, so he also kind of screws himself over. It gets really weird because he does start. It doesn't show it in the documentary that he made, but he did threaten to shoot another employee in the head. And then there is in the documentary there's a heated phone call between him and one of the Wachowski's wives, and then it got so bad that he was actually arrested in 2000 for threats that he made to other employees about the stuff that was going on. So I don't know. He kind of seems not mentally all there, while also kind of maybe should have been owed some of the money based on the stuff that he was saying and some of the stuff that Warner Brothers ended up kind of doing. They did kind of do some weird things because the brother Dozer, who ended up dying in the first movie, he only received kind of a similar amount of money, and he had less lines and less screen time, but he's been still paid royalties up until this day. So he was so the brother was still making money, while Marcus Chong never made any money from any royalties or anything like that, according to him. So it seems like both of them were doing some weird stuff.
Lucky boy, what are you doing?
Dozer's also mentioned more often in the second film. Hank, I think, is only mentioned in one or two sentences. They say Dozer's name at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, so it's weird. I think my opinion from what I kind of observed was that it seemed like both of them were kind of doing weird things and probably both in the wrong. However, Marcus Strong probably took it a little too far by threatening to kill employees. So yeah. So that's a weird rabbit hole to go down if you want to go down it.
Just to be clear, they only ended up paying him 28, or did he end up settling for a little more?
No, his original salary for the first movie was $28,000. That's what he agreed upon. That's what they went with. And then when they said, "Hey, we're making 2 more, we're going to offer you $250,000 for both movies to come back and reprise your role," he was like, "I don't think that's enough. I want $1 million."
$1 million.
They ended up countering with a $500,000 offer. They said it was weird.
And he turned that down?
He did, yeah.
The fuck,
bro?
So the Wachowskis offered him. They said either do it for $500,000 for both movies, or do it for free, because he had mentioned something about wanting to hold the integrity of the movies together, because it would obviously have the same character, throughout the 3 movies. So they were like, either you do it for free and you hold it to integrity together as you wanted, or we give you $500,000. And he turned that down too because he wanted $1 million. So I don't know. Make up your opinions as you will. It was a weird situation.
Add that to the big lose or big lose segment.
You heard it here first, folks. Yeah. So that's a weird thing to go on. Next we have the cell phones used in the movies. If you notice, they're not the original Nokia Samsungs, the original Nokia flip phones that they had in the first movie. They're like these weird sci-fi super phones that they have that slide out of each other. Right now, these cell phones were made specifically by Samsung. They're called a Samsung SPHN 270.
What a name!
They were sold on the Samsung website in 2003 for the movie's release, and so that you can get a phone that's exactly like in the movie. Only 10,000 were made, but they are not made for everyday use. They're basically just high quality, rare merchandising stuff. Yeah. So they did work, but they weren't meant to be used like that. They were just meant to be oh, look at this cool phone I got one of the 10,000 that were ever made, kind of thing. So, but yeah, if you ever wanted to know what the phone was, it's called a SPH N270.
What a name! That's so long.
I know, right?
You would think they would come up with something a little catchier.
Like,
where was the marketing?
Yeah, where's the marketing on this one?
Where's the marketing department? I want to know.
And all right, so for our last fact, which is doozy, the original theatrical release of The Matrix Reloaded, many of the signs during the freeway chase had an 8-character hexadecimal code instead of their actual content on the billboards, shown later in the theatrical versions and on home video. These hex codes were actually cheat codes to the companion game Enter the Matrix. So basically, if you had the code on your screen, you can scan it. You can use the code in Enter the Matrix, and it would bring up a little hacking mini game. And there were cheat commands in the video game.
Wow.
Those are my last facts.
Yay. Cheat codes. Very good. Good job, Isaiah.
Thank you.
You've done it once again. Now, who wants to go first?
Big Lou.
Big Lou.
Does anyone remember what I rated the original one?
Nope.
I want to say I gave it a 4, probably.
4, or maybe a 4.5.
Probably. I'm gonna give this one a 4.5. It is my favorite of the 3.
What?
That's a
That's a shock.
Yeah, I understand. No, I understand. Anyway, I'll figure out why you hate it so much in a few minutes.
Okay, I want to figure out why you like it so much too. So go ahead.
I know the criticism on this one is that the script. I know the script is very different from the first one. This one is much more into the whole choreographed fight scenes, heavily choreographed fight scenes, and a bunch of focus on relationships and all that other random stuff. Looking back at this film and mixing that with the knowledge I have from Path of Neo, Enter the Matrix, and just other reading I've done in regards to the film, I liked the attempt, at least visually, to kind of create a much more in-depth look at the world they wanted to, or the universe they wanted to build for the Matrix. I also, on an analytical level, I think it's important. Actually, I found an article that I had read recently because it related to this film in particular. And it's actually talking about that orgasm cake scene with the Merovingian.
That's another thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
We're gonna get to that in a second.
Okay.
No. The whole thing about the Merovingian is the fact that he is an ancient program who has the power to kind of influence these sort of things, right? The orgasm scene is also an example of the way the Wachowskis wanted to push the script, and not push the limit on what you put in films these days. At that time. And I think I'm gonna change my rating to a 4. But anyway, I think what it comes down to is the fact that I really like how they took not just introducing other ancient programs like Seraph, the Keymaker, the Oracle's reintroduction as a actual program and not just some woman, or the Merovingian and his wife Persephone, or the twins. The twins were cool, if everyone remembers that from the highway scene. In either case,
they were scary.
They're also very interesting to see in the game, which Isaiah will soon find if he gets the game or the Xbox.
Yeah.
The idea behind all of this was the focus on sensuality and humanity and emotions and all these things that don't actually exist in the Matrix, right? Because they're all just code and programs and whatever. And it's trying to emphasize that it's Neo, Trinity, Morpheus, they are human beings at the end of the day, right? And I thought that was something that was really important for the film and even for this type of universe, to remember that just because they exist mostly in a computer program and they came from fucking eggs in machine world, doesn't mean that they're not still human beings who have basically tried to escape this mechanical internet world. And remember that life is a beautiful thing, and I think that's probably what stood out.
That's why they have an orgy.
Kinda, yeah.
Hold up, yeah. Wait. What orgy?
She's talking about the rave. She's talking about the rave in the beginning.
What's an orgy?
Is it?
It's not an orgy.
It's not an orgy.
It's an orgy.
It's a party.
No. It's a rave.
There are naked women.
It's a rave. There are naked women, but it's meant to be a rave.
But they're doing things.
They're not all doing things.
They're not.
But the cut from Neo and Trinity to the
I know. There's Neo and Trinity. There's Neo and Trinity doing it.
That they're doing it as well.
No. There's Neo and Trinity doing it, and then there's the ladies dancing on each other because they're enjoying, the rave music essentially.
I think it's an orgy.
And okay, you think it's an orgy? I can tell you how it's written here. It says rave, but
a raving orgy.
I think you're just saying the word orgy at this point.
Have you seen the new Thor movie? They did too.
What happened?
There's an orgy in the Thor movie.
The Zeus alludes and talks about the yearly orgy a lot for some reason in the new Thor movie. It's very weird. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, continue, Lou. Sorry.
I think another point. Actually, it wasn't even the rave itself, but the way they had music, like the way they started playing the music. I loved the almost indigenous vibe of it, right? Because they're basically
tribal.
Yeah, the tribal vibe of it, because they're like a
war drums kind of sound.
Yeah. And I also just thought, like, analytically or like literate in a literature sense, that's a really interesting scene to portray.
It's like back to our roots almost.
Yeah, because it's trying to show that these are human beings who went back to their very roots and escaped, the unstoppable advancement of civilization.
Look at you, Lewis, becoming a real film critic. I like it.
Thanks. I'm trying to use my literary background from back in the day.
Lewis using big words.
Yeah. So, so I understand the criticism is probably going to be heavily on the script, but I will overlook that for now as a reason to say that this is among my favorite films, not just because of the choreography, but because of the sensuality and world building they tried to do visually. Maybe they didn't emphasize it or beat it over the head with like the actual script and what they said, but the details of the way the Merovingian dresses, and the way that the restaurant looks, and the vampiric people in the fucking club and whatnot, and also going back to Path of Neo, because these are also referenced and expanded a little bit in that scene. But yeah, that's my take on it so far.
Very well put. Isaiah, did you want to go next, or?
Yeah, I'll go next.
Okay.
So I think this movie's kind of okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5, mostly because like what made the first one so revolutionary and like was it's like the philosophy, all of it, and like with the combination of its with the action and all the things that made it what it was put together. I think the action in this one is they kind of like upped it a notch, so it's very, very good. Like the action just kind of like they said, oh, we're gonna go for it. We're going for broke on this one. And I felt like they kind of just focused on the action specifically on that. Like everything else kind of had less priority.
I can agree with that, and that's why I understand that may be a main source of criticism.
Yeah, because like no, the action scenes, don't get me wrong, are freaking great. Like we call it the highway scene and the fight in the mansion in the mountains scene and the Burley brawl.
I was watching that scene when Isaiah and I hopped on.
All the action scenes are they're just so top tier. Like they're iconic. And so like, I don't know, I felt like they kind of just lost the focus of like the philosophy and stuff like that. They kept a few of the elements, like Seraph, the guy who protects the Oracle. He's meant to be like a metaphor for a login screen, like the captcha system to prove that he's like Neo's the human that he's supposed to be. So that's why he's like, he tests you. That's why you had to fight him and stuff like that. So I kind of get that.
You never truly know someone until you fight them.
Yeah, like you don't. His idea is to be that kind of like that like login screen of like you can't access the Oracle until you figure out how to pass me kind of thing. They still kept some of the philosophy and stuff like that, and I like the metaphors and some like this little stuff they did, but it just wasn't enough because it just kind of fell a little flat on that side of the things of what like everything that kind of made you like, ooh, this is mind boggling, this is mind blowing, oh my god. And then then it goes back to the thing. And then I think the plot line of Agent Smith coming back as like a human kind of just went a little overboard. And I was like, I felt like if they had come up with a different villain, maybe, or like a different idea or something like that to have a different villain, because like I was like, oh, they didn't know that they were going to make 2 sequels, and they're kind of pulling stuff out their ass a bit for a minute there. And I was like, yeah, that's not how this was that shouldn't have not how it's gone. They should have figured out something else. They pulled basically a Star Wars where they didn't have a plan and they kind of winged it a little bit.
Somehow, Agent Smith returned.
Exactly. So like he straight up exploded in the first movie. Like how the hell has he come back?
So I want to throw in about Agent Smith because he does kind of refer to it in his discussion with Neo just before the Burley Brawl. He's saying like, I know what I was supposed to do. So he understands that as a program, because like what Neo did was destroy the physical version of his code, right? The code still existed in the machine's like matrix, core.
He said the Matrix. He said.
Anyway, so from my understanding, this is how I kind of saw it, because he's not coming back as a human. He's coming back as a virus, which is kind of a roundabout thing. He says in the first movie, he calls humans a virus. Now he is one because he exists outside of the confines of the Matrix. Because of the destruction of his code. Like he basically became separated from the machine's core and existed as a virus. That's why he was able to replicate himself into these like 80 to 100 to however many clones at any point in time. That's why he could take over the agent programs as well. The agents Thompson and whoever the fuck, I don't remember their actual names because they're only mentioned in Path of Neo. I used to have, fun fact, I used to have the Path of Neo like complete guide, like the magazine thing.
Oh, you know? Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I still have it somewhere in my house. But I love that thing, and it gave you like all this background info on like Seraph, the agents, like all this cool stuff that never really got mentioned in the movies or even in the game itself. In either case, so Smith becomes a virus of sorts. He becomes almost a sentient program that is able to, as the Oracle says, and as Neo says in their talk before the Billy Brawl, a program that can hack other programs. Ultimately, all he wants to do is kill Neo or destroy him, become him, because he destroyed him in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But I agree, it was kind of like pulled out their ass. They could have set this up differently. Like they could have shown like in the ending credits or something like that. They could have shown a scene where like Smith is like back, or he like slowly starts to kind of like come back together, kind of thing, almost like regenerating like Deadpool or whatever. Or they could have thrown in some kind of scene or leeway that would explain why and how he came back. But if I understood correctly, he came back as sort of a virus. He exists outside the confines. I think that's also maybe mentioned at a later point. I don't know.
He mentions that he's outside the confines in the right before the Burly Brawl. That like, he's unplugged.
Yeah, he's unplugged, right?
Yeah, but I still feel like they could have came up with a better idea,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe like they could have went a different route other than just bringing the same villain back, because they're like, we need this villain for the sequel. What are we gonna do? Other than like the whole fact that like main villain technically is the machines going to Zion, because technically the
Sentinels.
Yeah, because the whole point is the movie is that he is just a sixth iteration of a protocol that has to be done in order to make the Matrix successful. Because if they don't, then the Matrix is going to fail, because they can never get everybody 100% to agree to it. So they have to have the outliers, and the outliers then have to be controlled somehow. So the whole point of this section, and I do like that idea they go for, is that he has to make a choice of whether or not he's going to save Zion and start over the Matrix, because that's the only way the humans can actually survive, or choose Trinity and then just go wild and just try to save everybody and come up with like the underdog story. I kind of like that direction they went in, but then that secondary villain of Smith kind of doing whatever the hell he wants, kind of was like, I felt like his arc was over. He shouldn't be here kind of anymore, but like whatever, I guess he's going to be there and cause havoc, and then in the future he becomes bigger situation. But we'll talk about that when we get to Revolutions. But yeah, I gave this movie 3 out of 5 because I felt like the action kind of overtook the philosophy and what made it great. The action is great, amazing, and that's why it's a 3, because usually 3 is like, oh, it's an average movie. It kind of like, it didn't do good. It didn't do the worst. Where I think like a lot of it did fall apart a bit, especially story-wise, because it kind of like started getting a little convoluted, which I thought brought it down to a 2, but the action is just so freaking good. It brought it back up to a 3 for me. So that's my scale, and that's how I'm kind of going about this.
Okay.
Beth, you got some thoughts? I know you have some thoughts on some things.
So I gave it a 2 out of 5. For a few reasons. So I'm going to start with, the pros, what I liked about it. For one thing, I liked Neo's character overall more. I felt like I just liked his little stupid one-liners and stuff that were just like kind of funny, but also kind of like smart ass, cocky. And it was just it made me think of like Doctor Strange kind of vibe. I also liked Trinity. I think she's one of my more favorite characters. I feel like I like her more than Neo personally, but that's just me. I also really liked the line where Agent Smith I forget who he was fighting, but he was fighting someone and someone went like, oh God. And he just went, Smith will suffice. I was like, oh, that's a good one. I like that.
That was Bane.
Yeah, Bane. That's how he becomes a human.
Yeah, that's how you kind of infiltrate that. So that's the part I didn't fully understand the first couple times I watched it. But then I kind of understood it's the idea that like, since here's the difference between people in Zion and the people who go out into the Matrix, right? Most of the people in Zion are born human, right? Like they weren't born in the eggs. They were actually born through generation after generation of people who lived in Zion.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have all those fucking plugs and holes and shit in them that would connect them to the Matrix. They're just actual human beings, completely separate. Versus, I guess what it's trying to say is that, like, to some degree, people like Trinity, Bane, Neo, etc., they're all part machine. in a sense.
Yeah, I guess but yeah, I really liked that line. I just was like a clever one,
Clever girl.
I could I could also immediately within like the first 5 minutes of the film, I could tell that the production value just went up so much. Like they actually had the budget. Also, I didn't know I'm probably going to butcher his last name, but Harold Perrineau, I think is how you say it, Perrineau. Was in it. He was the one who played Link. I know him personally from Lost. I don't know how many of you guys watched Lost, but that was a very good show especially for its time, back when cable television was huge and you were like, oh my God, I can't wait for next week's episode. Like Lost.
My mom and dad used to watch it like religiously.
Such a good show until the end.
I've never seen Lost, so
I've seen bits and pieces.
I would rewatch it. It was good. Also, another little thing that I think is funny. So Neo's outfit, I forgot to mention this in the last one, but because he wore it so much this movie, I had to make note of it. Neo's outfit for this film and just the Matrix in general makes me think of Billy Corgan, the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins.
Oh.
And if you guys ever played Guitar Hero, specifically, I think it's World Tour, you'll know exactly what outfit I'm talking about. It is the exact same outfit. And it makes me laugh because I just picture like Neo singing like Smashing Pumpkins songs.
Oh my God.
That'd be great. Okay. So here's what I didn't like about it. Morpheus's speech in Zion. I don't know what it was about that speech. I don't know if it was like his voice, like the way he portrayed it, or like his body language, or if it was like a wombo combo. But it was just really hard for me to watch. It was just, he just didn't deliver it good. It wasn't convincing. I felt like I was watching a scripted scene. It felt like a student film kind of vibes. I don't know what it was, but it was hard for me to watch.
Talk about the speech in the beginning, right? During the prayer or whatever?
Yeah, right before the rave happened. Also, I know I said I liked Neo and I liked Trinity in this film. Don't like them together as a couple. There was just so many random, I felt like it was like episode 5 of Star Wars where it's just like Han and Leia just random. It's like they see each other, they lock eyes, and then they just hardcore start making out. And I hate that in films. It's weird. No one does that. That's the only thing I didn't like. I don't care about them as a couple. They're fine. It's whatever. But it was those scenes where they would just like in the elevator where they dropped all their bags and they started like making out. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Speaking of making out, orgy scene, which I've been now told is not an orgy scene, but
it's a rave.
Fully disagree.
I would like everybody in the comments of like our next post or something to be like, it's not an orgy, or if it is an orgy, maybe we'll post a poll. I want to know whoever watched that movie and thought, yeah, it's an orgy. Because I don't think I've ever had anybody tell me that.
I'll post it on Instagram after this episode airs. I want to see. I'm going to be like, is there an orgy scene in The Matrix 2?
Being that I've been to a
orgy
music festival. No.
Oh my God.
Anyway, being that I've been to a music festival, I have seen that kind of behavior at music festivals, so that's why I wasn't thinking it was an orgy. I've seen like women who are like literally pasties on their nipples.
See, I've never been to one of those kind of things, so maybe that's why I immediately just assumed it was an orgy.
I took it as like it was a club, like they were clubbing, because that's how.
Is that what clubs are like? Jesus Christ!
You've been to a warehouse club in like New York? You'd be like, no, bro, this is
Isaiah. Do I look like the kind of person that would go to a warehouse club in New York?
I don't know, but yeah, when you get like those are like the vibes, like during raves and.
Anyways, well, okay, then I'll cross that one out. All right,
just throw in when I come visit you, we are going to go to a club.
We are not going to a club.
No, but it's not a club you think like the way you think.
What is it?
It's called the Castle. I just want you to experience it.
It sounds like a gay club.
No, it's a goth club.
Oh,
okay, that's okay. See, you said the castle. I thought that was like a euphemism or something.
For what?
I mean, so like I'm gonna throw in. We're gonna walk up to the second floor, but you're gonna see in the corner that they have one of those X cross things where people get tied up and whipped for BDSM.
Lewis, no.
Oh, this is my kind of place. Let's go.
No, it's
take Isaiah. I'm not doing that.
No, it's just there for show. It doesn't actually happen.
No, I know. I've had a friend that's gone there.
Oh,
Not to that exact one, but something like that.
Right. But it's a cool place. You just jam out.
Interesting. Anyways, okay. So since you won't let me do my orgy, wait.
Whoa.
I mean, like,
whoa.
If you won't let me count it, is what I mean. The orgy scene. I want to include, can we just talk about the woman who had an orgasm while eating a cake? Because, like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, so, I mean, he was just kind of demonstrating his power as a program that can basically control how people feel, right? Which is why he's running a BDSM club. But I would definitely give it to the Wachowskis. That was definitely over the top. Like with a little fireworks show, once you get to like between her legs.
Someone was just really feeling it that day.
No, like for real though, imagine being that, like imagine you get hired on as an effects artist for The Matrix 2 and you're given the scene. They're like, okay, you have to make a digital version of a woman orgasming because she ate chocolate cake. I'm going to try and wrap this up because I still have like way more notes, but I'm going to just mention the big ones. So I would have been fine with just the first movie. If they had found a nice way to wrap it up into a nice, beautiful bow, it would have been perfect as a standalone movie. I don't see why we need to stretch it out to 3 films. However, I also am not as immersed into this universe as other people are. So I could give 2 shits if there were more movies. So that is a personal opinion of mine. That being said, it was definitely a lot harder for me to retain anything in this movie, like story-wise. I just felt like I was really like, kind of like Isaiah said, like the only parts that I was watching were the action scenes. Everything else, I was like, this is really boring. I don't care. However, the action scenes were so long that I lost interest in those eventually. So I just kind of overall, it just fell flat. I do think that I do feel like they were trying to be more artistic this time around with their cinematography. And I think there were certain moments where they actually nailed it. But then I feel like, again, there were other times where it just kind of fell flat. I do think Neo versus, like, what was it? You said 80 Agent Smiths?
Agent Smith, yeah.
Really, bro, yes.
Yeah, I think that scene was great. It was hilarious. It was entertaining. I was going to mention the bowling sound effects. That was hilarious. I noticed that and I immediately had to write it down because I was like, there's no way in hell that I'm the only person that's heard that because that's so funny. The CGI, I mean, I guess for its time was probably good, but like watching it now they were so rubbery and there was like that ragdoll effect, which I'm sure is done for comedic effect, but it's one of those movies where it's really hard to tell when they're being like if you're supposed to be taking it seriously or if you're supposed to be taking it not seriously. And those are the kind of films I have trouble connecting to because I need to know if I'm supposed to be taking it seriously or not.
I think to a degree the Wachowskis play on that idea of like not taking these things way too.
Yeah,
that's what they were trying to write these movies as.
Well, they nailed it then. I forget which one of you guys said it, but earlier one of you said that you think that like the Matrix kind of lost its like hype, because it's already been done and now we're doing a sequel. I think it was Isaiah that said something along. Yeah. So I wrote something along those lines as well, where I just feel like the Matrix, like the gimmick itself, lost its value by the time the second film was coming out. So I feel like now that I've seen the first one, I'm like, okay, well now my eyes, like now I already know about all this. This isn't like a first time hearing these things. So it just didn't impact me as much as I think the first one did. And then lastly, this is the most important question. Did I like fucking miss something? Why does everyone fucking wear glasses? Is there a reason? Is it just like a fashion choice? I don't understand.
What do you mean? Like the sunglasses?
The sunglasses, yes.
I think it's just a fashion choice.
Is it really? Because it's not very fashionable.
I think it was a Wachowski's fashion choice, but I think it's meant to signify people who are human and not programs.
But Agent Smith wears them.
That is true.
I thought it was just people who were like aware of the Matrix.
Sure.
Maybe wear them.
That would probably be a better point because Seraph also wears them. He's a program.
Comment to us and let us know if you have an actual reason or if we're right, because I want to know what the real reasoning is behind glasses. That's the real important question. But yeah, those are all my notes. I had a lot this time around.
Also, whether or not it's an orgy scene or a rave.
Yes, that is also important. That one I'm going to post on Instagram. I'm like 100% positive it was an orgy. Okay, so anything else you guys want to add before I wrap up?
If anyone has an original Xbox they're willing to sell me for $30, I will buy it from you. I've been trying,
Isaiah.
I've been hunting down.
Isaiah the plug.
Yeah, I've been trying to hunt down for this original Xbox for the last like month. Ever since we decided we're going to do the Matrix, because I want to play the Path of Neo again, and it's not backwards compatible on any Xbox after the original because Warner Brothers didn't want to renew the license. So, and the only way you can do it is on an original Xbox, and every time I try to get one on eBay, I get outbid because someone wants to rack up the price at $250.
All right, well, anyone out there who has an original Xbox, DM Isaiah.
Yeah, man, if it's just sitting in the closet, just hand it on over.
Yep, he'll pay you $1,000 for it.
$30.
Okay, $30. Take it or leave it.
I want to see the 6 polygons on Neo's face again.
God. Okay, well, on that note, thank you guys for listening. Be sure to follow us on our social medias. You guys know where we're at. Please email us your movie suggestions for our listeners' episodes at silverscreensips@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys next Monday with Matrix Resurrection, right?
Revolution, then Resurrection.
Oh, right.
Remember to take your red pills, guys.
Or your blue pills.
What the? $12,000?
Oh my God, he's still looking at Xbox.